And you know what's funny about the whole situation is that people say, well, that's only because we got richer. The United States as a nation got richer.
How
Wrong.
is that? We got richer,
What
so
actually happened? Everyone, yeah, that's the myth. They say the reason why things are so expensive is because everyone got rich.
really, wow.
Is because there's so much wealth in the United States that it became diluted, and we had this runaway inflation. No, that's not what happened. What happened was, granted, there was a lot of rich families in the past, but that's not why inflation ran amok. The reason why inflation ran amok was because the banks, operating under the laws of Lombard, the rules of Lombard banking, the crookedest form of banking in the world. And just a side note, the reason why the crookedest street in the United States is called Lombard Street in San Francisco is because Lombard banking is the most deceitful, crooked, gangster, crony, manipulative capitalism I guess you can imagine.
It's a lot of names.
Negatives.
It's
Yeah, there's a lot of negative connotations there. They're all negative names. But the truth of the matter is that in the 1300s, when fractional reserve banking was created, that's when they really, well, it was probably actually a little bit before that, but the modern form of it, where the bank will take a deposit of gold, and then they'll loan out pieces of paper saying that their pieces of paper represent a certain amount of gold based on a piece of paper, what was stamped on it, what was written on it, a certificate. So these first banks were basically saying, hey, look, you're getting wealthy, you have your own property, you can't be at your property 24/7, so you can't leave your gold there. Someone's going to break into your living space and steal your gold. Leave it with us, and we'll take care of it for you. And we'll give you pieces of paper because it's easier to carry around pieces of paper than it is to carry around gold. Or silver, for that matter. Or whatever, copper, doesn't matter. People had different commodities to trade with. But the fact of the matter is this: they had this system created where the banks took the money, and we're talking about the Federal Reserve System, and it operates on the same way, but there is no gold for this new system that we have. It's a fiat system, but the old system, the history of it, create money out of thin air based on loans that they had. They would have 10% of what they loaned out, and then they would just be rest assured that no one's going to come and cash that out.
Why?
Because they want to make money. They're making money out of nothing.
Don't they care? Don't they care?
Of course they care about themselves.
Don't they? Aren't they also citizens of
Okay,
this country?
okay. So you're asking a
Don't
moral.
they care
So you're asking a moral question, a question about morals, and that's a tough one. So if my morals were totally messed up,
Yeah.
and I didn't give a crap about humanity, damn right your ass I would do that and screw everyone over. I wouldn't even care. But if I cared about humanity and wanted a better way, I would never even implement a system like that. I wouldn't even have a Lombard banking system where deposits are 10% of what's actually loaned out. Or even worse, not even 10%, like 1% of what's loaned out. Because the banks know there'll never be a bank run. That's what's holding them from not doing what they're doing. They do what they want to do because they know we're not going to do a bank run. We're not going to go and say, hey, give us our money. So they just keep printing more money out and loaning it out on paper. And the Federal Reserve System does it, and everyone says, okay, Manny, you crazy conspiracy guy. There's no way that a bank would loan out money with assets it doesn't even have. Well, look at the 2008 bailouts. What happened there?
Maybe they came up with some money somehow. Right?
So the way they came up with all this money, and they tricked everybody. They said, okay, well, we'll loan you money to buy a house. So they loaned out in excess of over $500 billion to the American people and the people of the United States and pretty much the whole world, and said, look, we're a Lombard banking system, but we're not going to call it that. We're going to call ourselves Wachovia, Bank of America, Chase Manhattan, JP Morgan, all these banks, banksters, right? And we're going to just loan out all this money to these people, and we're going to tell them, like me, myself, this is a personal experience, and I'm not going to divulge the name of the people that did this to me, But the reality is this, and I'm sure you've experienced it. Some of you out there have probably experienced this. You have a shark loan type person who doesn't care. They're like that. Back to the whole moral question. What would you do? And people that don't give a shit about humanity and don't care, they just care about themselves. They'll pressure you into taking out a loan for a house you can't even afford. They'll back you up online on the paperwork. They'll say that you make $50,000 a year, even if you're making 25. They don't care. They're not going to audit you because they're going to make commission. That's what they tell you. Sooner or later, it's going to catch up with the American people, and that's what happened. See, from 2002, probably even before 2002, probably like 1995, a lot of the new developments started happening in the United States, all these new house developments. And the banks were like, oh, look at this. It's just a massive dumping ground for money. We're just going to give people loans that don't even deserve them. Who gives a shit? Just give it to them. Tell them to lie on their applications. Tell them to bounce a check. Tell them to, overdraw their bank account and take the hit. Who cares? It's worth it. They'll tell you that. And then you get all hyped up and you're like, yeah, I'm going to have a 2-bedroom condo or a 3-bedroom house with a garage or a house with a yard or whatever. Just something. They entice you. They tempt you. And a lot of Americans and people around the world, not only in the United States, fell prey to these bankers, these crony capitalists, like I like to call them. They're not true free market capitalists. They use this system. They're fascists. A system where the government is in cahoots with the money makers who print out the money out of thin air and control the interest rates. So if they're saying the interest rates are low, everyone's going to say, oh, shit, yeah, I want to buy a house because interest rates are low. I'm going to take out a loan, who they control the interest and they print the loan. And they just give it to you. They know you ain't going to pay it. That's the whole point. Everyone says, oh, well, Manny, you crazy conspiracy guy? No, the American money system is based on debt. The more debt that's in the system, the stronger the system is. Wrong. If no one's paying that debt back, where does your value go? Where does the money go?
Go somewhere.